the Alster Canal is rather idyllic these days, and you can live in a floating home here. But here in Hamburg's Wagnerstraße, connecting the districts of Barmbek and Eilbeek, things weren't always that nice. A little while ago, I posted a video called Echoes of World War II, in which I showed some of the places where you can still see the traces and the damage of Operation Gomorrah, which was a 10-day bombing raid during World War II in July 1943, targeting Hamburg. One viewer who does not live in Germany left a comment under that video and told me that his grandfather's family had actually escaped the bombing on foot, starting right here in Wagnerstraße, heading for the district of Schanzenviertel. And that's what we're gonna do today. Just without bombs, not in the night, but on a very friendly, sunny 1st of March. Now, during those bombing nights, whole districts were erased, and Wagnerstraße was right on the edge between very bad and absolutely catastrophic. Pretty much everything you see here has been built after the war. It's a very rare exception to find a house that is actually older than the 1950s. Now, I want to point something out before we go on. This video is about civilians trying to survive. That doesn't detach the suffering of civilians from the regime they were living under. And Operation Gomorrah, the bombing campaign, was Allied retaliation within a war that got started by Germany. So I'm not victimizing anyone here. I'm fully aware, and we all should be, of who was the aggressor in that war. Now, that family's escape started here in Wagnerstraße, and it took them all the way to the district of Sternschanze, which is about 6 kilometers away. Now, I cannot know exactly the route they took, but I will make one up that I think makes sense for them to have taken. I actually found a map of Hamburg and the destruction it suffered in 1943. I will show you, and I will also show where Wagnerstraße is, right at the edge of the worst. Post-war reconstruction in the 1950s was also a period in history when Hamburg had some of its worst urban planning ideas ever, trying to make everything car-friendly. Where I'm standing now seems like a strip of green, and it is, but on that side is a 5-lane road, and on the other side is the other half of a, in total, 10-lane road. To my left, that's called Oberaltenallee, and to my right, that's called Hamburger Straße. And it has two names, even though today it's basically the same road, just different directions. But until 1943, that green strip I'm standing on now, separating those two directions, there were actually apartment buildings on here, and these roads were much narrower. These days, the side of the road only contains one single, very long shopping mall. In the past, there was a large department store and also many residential buildings with small businesses like shops and cafes and restaurants on the ground level. Now, I don't want to sound like that everything used to be better in the old days guy. It wasn't. For example, these days, we don't have to live under a Nazi government that eventually starts a world war. After leaving Hamburger Straße, this family will have most likely continued straight on into Mundsburger Damm, which is where we are now. Again, lots of red brick, which was the go-to material during reconstruction because it could be produced, mass-produced, at low cost. Now that street with the beautiful old houses you just saw, that's Straße. And I just turned around one single corner to where I was just before. That's how close total annihilation and survival were back then. So I would think that the next milestone this family reached during their escape was the Alster lake, which makes sense because there are no burning buildings around you right here. So by now that family had made it to relative safety. It was certainly no walk in the park, but it was far from the absolute chaos where they started. Okay, let me read that comment again. My grandparents lived on Wagnerstraße at the time. My opa, meaning grandpa, had been injured in combat and happened to be home and made the seemingly risky decision to take his family and run through streets of fire instead of going to their shelter. By some miracle, they survived and made their way to family in Sternschanze. Yeah, and chances are they wouldn't have survived in the air raid shelters because many people suffocated in those. So it was probably the smartest decision he could have made. Now at some point that family will have crossed the Alster lake using this bridge right here, Lombardsbrücke, with absolutely no time or nerve to enjoy the view. Now how did they go from there? My guess is they headed for the Planten and Blomen park because the same as large lakes, large parks also aren't very attractive targets for bomber pilots. And after leaving the park on the other side, they were, and we are, almost there. So that's it. From Bamberg to Sternschanze. A Sunday walk for me. An escape from bombs for a family over 80 years ago. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up, maybe even hit that subscribe button. Every click or tap helps. Until the next time, I hope you have a lovely day. I will see you again soon. Take care and stay safe.